right, I have 9:30. Let's go ahead and call our meeting to order. Tom, would you read us an invocation, please?
Good morning, I'm Tom Hagan. I'm chaplain for American Legion Post 158 in Earlham. Pray with me now if you like. Dear Heavenly Father, we have another glorious day before us here upon your earth. As we go about our day, let us recognize your handiwork. As our lands awaken from their wintry slumber, the greening of the grasses, the high-flying geese, the cooing of the mourning dove, the cawing of the crow, and the bouncing robin. Let us honor you and your creation. Now, Lord, we ask that you would bless this assembly of your people. We ask a special blessing for those that step up to lead and serve, that the work accomplished would be beneficial to your kingdom and its people. Now, please touch our hearts with love, joy, peace, patience, and understanding as we tend to your creation, Madison County. I ask all these things in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Tom. All right, let's go ahead and do roll call, please.
Supervisor Hobbs? Here. Supervisor Stancil?
Here.
Supervisor Fitch? Here.
Okay, they're all here. Okay, next is review of agenda, disclosure of conflict of interest. I do have a conflict of interest on the first resolution to be considered, Resolution A, so I will be abstaining from that vote. Is there anything else on the agenda that any of the supervisors would like to add, or anything from the board clerk to add?
We do have the claims that were added into the board packet.
Okay.
But you do have them.
It's on the agenda, correct?
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, all right, well then, if there's nothing, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion? All right, all in favor, please vote aye. Aye, okay. Next, we're up is public comment. Our microphone is not working, so if you could project when you speak, that would be wonderful. Please give your name and a city of residence. If you come up to the microphone and speak, you have 3 minutes. Not everybody jump up at once. Anybody wish to speak in public comment? Okay. Is there anybody on the phone that, did you have a public comment?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Wait a second, we have someone here on site for the public comment, and we'll move to folks on the phone. Wait 2 minutes, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I didn't realize that we were hitting that right out of the get-go.
Well, we moved through fast.
That's good. I have some concerns, and one of them is the fact that,
Sir,
Your name.
excuse me, Mike Fletcher, Winterset, Iowa.
Okay.
The fact as part-time employees, the supervisors have provided themselves with county health insurance. And county employees that are part-time are not entitled to health insurance. And in my opinion, doing so serves more in your own public interest than it does for the taxpayer interest. We all took an oath when we were elected to public office to not serve ourselves, not to better ourselves, not to profit, not to financially gain. And by providing yourselves with health insurance and continuing to keep that at the public's expense, that's exactly what you're doing in breaking that oath. So I think, I would hope that you would consider that, especially on the heels of taking away home health care from the most vulnerable population of our county, the elders, the seniors, some of which are probably going to end up losing their homes to go into nursing homes because they no longer have those services. And I thought that was one of your primary concerns, was to keep people in their homes by keeping the taxes down, but this is an effect of that. I just think that everybody that's a part-time employee ought to be on the same playing field. If the rest of the employees aren't entitled to health insurance, then you shouldn't be self-serving yourselves and giving it to yourselves and keeping it at the taxpayer's expense. I'm also concerned with why you're working in the auditor's office virtually full-time and accessing employee records.
That's not true, Mike.
You're there
We're
from
in the
morning
middle of
till,
budget season. As the chair, I'm working with the auditor with our budget.
and she's not even there. She leaves every day at 2:30 to go pick up her kids, yet you stay there and work.
Mike, if you have an issue with the auditor, please address it with the auditor. We do
I
not have
am, you
any-
are the acting auditor.
I am not
You
the
are-
acting auditor.
Yes,
Please-
you are. You
please
speak
stop.
for her,
Please
you
stop.
prevent her, present her
Please-
budget.
please stop.
You do everything for the auditor.
Mike, you are a city councilman.
I am.
If you do not know what goes on in county business, I suggest if you want to do county business, run for supervisor. But
Well-
right now, we are in the middle of budgets, and the county actually is lowering taxes while the city is raising them. So maybe you should look to your own house before you throw stones at ours. Okay?
I thought this was for public comment, not for you to be like having a conversation.
Ma'am,
This is
Ma'am?
part of her
Ma'am?
hostile environment she creates and fights with everybody, even during public comment when you're not supposed to be speaking.
no, that's not true. As the chair, I can address you if I wish. In fact, any of these board members can address you if they wish. This is our meeting, okay? You have a right to.
Please act like a supervisor instead of a dictator in running this county.
We are lowering taxes for the taxpayers here, which
Yes,
is,
at the
which is
expense
what
of services
we
to
were
the
told
taxpayers,
to do.
firing employees, laying off people left and right.
We did not fire anybody.
You haven't?
No, we have not.
Where's your secretary that used to
She
say?
resigned. She resigned. You can do a public records
You
request.
informed her during the meeting that she was being
No, we
terminated.
didn't. No, we didn't. Maybe you should re-listen to that meeting.
Your 3 minutes are up, buddy.
Well, yeah,
Actually, sir.
She used up
actually,
most of
sir,
it.
I'm gonna give him a little extra time because we did have a conversation. So I will grant you another minute if you have other things to say.
well, I've addressed most of my concerns, and I understand that someone is also in discussions with the Christian Academy on buying a building that we haven't even done a study on why we should be
But
selling.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I know you don't, you never do.
I would appreciate if you stopped spreading rumors,
I'm
Let's
not.
get some facts going here and
Yes.
let's move on.
okay?
Well, let's go
A
back
lot
to
of
the
things
fact
that
that
you've
you guys
stated are
are
not facts.
giving
They're
yourself
not
health
facts.
insurance. And it's rich for you to say that she should give up her health insurance because she's got Medicare, yet you don't turn to her and say she should give up her health insurance
Mike, the
because she's
supervisor,
got private health insurance available to her.
Mike,
You need her support to keep your health
Mike,
insurance.
the supervisors have had health insurance for decades. In fact,
Yeah,
every
but-
supervisor in the state gets health insurance. So I would appreciate, I understand your frustration, and you have the right to believe what you wanna believe. But if you were gonna put things in a public forum that are not true, that are not backed up by facts, you really shouldn't be saying that. Because some of the people you are talking about are private citizens.
I understand that.
Okay, and as an elected official, you should not be sharing things that are not true about private citizens.
Well,
Because you hold the city liable if that's the case.
go ahead.
It's not my issue. The private citizens can take the city to task if you continue to do that. So I recommend you stop spreading rumors and lies about private citizens. Because you're gonna hold the city accountable for that, should they decide to take action. Which is why we don't talk about that here, because I do not wanna I don't wanna put the county at risk. But the public continues to talk about private citizens, including members of the elected offices, about private citizens that are not true, and you need to stop. If you have facts, present them. I have the resignation of our former board clerk in hand. You are more than welcome to get a copy of that if you wish. It's open records. So please stop spreading rumors and untruths, because you risk holding the city liable for them.
I'm speaking as a private citizen, so I'm not sure
I don't know what
what
the public's gonna
city
say,
has to
but
do with anything.
you are talking about private citizens and things that are not true. You
And
are
I'm
an
a
elected,
private citizen,
you
so
are
why
also
are
an
you
elected
threatening
official.
me with
You are
the
also
city?
an elected official.
I'm not speaking as an elected official.
I don't know what the citizens can think about that. If they wanna take the city to task, they can. So here's the thing, is that we,
I
as
didn't
a,
even know he was on city council until you said it, Heather.
I understand that, but
Point of order, this is counterproductive, arguing back and forth.
Diane,
Stick to the-
Diane, I'm
stick to
really
that.
tired of people spreading lies about other people and about people on this board. They have a right to say what they want, but Diane, I don't know where people got this whole health insurance thing. It's interesting this has come up when we didn't seem to have issues with health insurance for the previous board or the boards before that.
We weren't in financial problems in the county that we are now. Now, things are much tighter, and so,
We just had a budget meeting yesterday and things are looking pretty good.
well, I'm sure with all the cuts you've made and services you've taken away from
All the
everybody,
cuts.
at the expense of keeping taxes lower,
Yeah, it's, let's get a point of order.
Okay.
so that's fine. Thank you very much for your time.
Yep.
Thank you, Mike.
Would be mine.
Next, please. Anyone else would like to speak?
Somebody on the phone.
Is there anyone else on the phone who would like to speak?
Yes, this is Terry, I would.
Oh, okay. Okay, Terry, there's a couple members of the public here that want to speak. Would you mind waiting?
She has.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
My name is Mary Lou Witt. I live at-
Mary Lou, can you speak up a little bit? The microphone isn't working.
Oh, it's not?
No, so you need to project.
My name is Mary Lou Witt. I live at 3041 Bittersweet Avenue in Maxford, Iowa. My husband and I have been residents here in the county for about 30 years, where we live and work. And we love this county, and Heather has been doing a great job. She's got a good employee named Leslie that's helping her also in the office. We don't know what we would do without her. I mean, if you don't continue with her employment, who will do the county employees payroll? Right now, she's doing it, and no one else knows how to do it at this point. So we, really need that person to do that. And, I remember when there used to be an article in the paper by one of the supervisors who frequently did quote scriptures, sometimes, without context, but I would like to use the context here where we're all fighting, it seems like. And in Matthew chapter 5, verses 43 to 44, Jesus was speaking to the crowd, and he said, "You have heard it said, love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you."
Thanks, Mary Lou. Is anyone else here that can speak?
Good morning, everyone. Vicky Brenner, Winterset, Iowa. My comments are specifically directed to the resolution approving L. Beck as part-time second deputy as the auditor recommends at $27 an hour, effective the 19th of March on 2025. The considerable ethics concerns and blatant cronyism will lead to more embarrassment for Madison County. The Madison County Auditor has circumvented best hiring practices yet again by putting forth a resolution to hire Leslie Beck, who is co-chair of Madison County, Iowa Republican Party and Madison County, Iowa Auditor Kaczinski's campaign chair, failing to publish a job description of L. Beck with the resolution to accompany the agenda, and putting forth a resolution from the start date of L. Beck. Leslie Beck is the co-chair of the Madison County Republicans. Heather Stancil and Jessica Hobbs are also on the Central Committee. Due to these relationships, the proposal to hire Leslie Beck exposes very serious ethics concerns. Leslie Beck is Auditor Kaczinski's campaign chair, as listed on her campaign finance reports. This fact first came to light when Kaczinski tried to hire Beck for $29 an hour back in January. That resolution was tabled because of public opposition to the unusually high dollar amount for a part-time employee. Their obvious personal relationship and the complete lack of transparency. At a Board of Supervisor meeting, Beck did state she had no intention of applying for a job while she announced her role as Auditor Kaczinski's campaign chair. The public continues to ask whether fair hiring practices are being followed. A resolution on this agenda for a part-time paramedic starts at $18 an hour. It seems quite a contrast to the $27 proposed for Beck. Leslie Beck is or was employed with RMG consultant Craig Bergman. RMG and Craig Bergman charged the Madison County taxpayers $7,353.60. The RMG contract promised a summary of completed work. As of today, according to Auditor Kaczinski, no such report is available. Beck was the individual to pick up the check payable to RMG. RMG and its CEO, Craig Bergman, have a checkered past, including a history of contract lawsuits. Madison County taxpayers have asked for any previous relationship or connections between Kaczinski, Craig Bergman, and Leslie Beck to be disclosed. Additionally, Leslie Beck created the online fundraiser for Supervisor Stancil's husband to help with medical bills. Now Auditor Kaczinski recommends hiring Beck as second deputy. I have included a screenshot of Beck's social media post regarding the fundraiser. Supervisors Fitch and Hobbs, I urge you to vote no on this hiring resolution and ask Auditor Kaczinski to look at the pool of applicants again. I would appreciate it if you would receive and file my comments.
Do I have a motion to receive and file?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
Anyone here else wish to make a comment? No one else wishes to make comment? Okay,
I have someone sent comments and I would like to read, but we can do the phone first.
okay. Anyone on the phone wish to comment? Any members from the public?
Yes,
Okay, please state your name and city where you reside.
Terry Kaczinski, Earlham, Iowa. I just wanna give some, clarification here on, why I've hired Leslie. For one, I trust her to jump in and help get the job done, and that's exactly what she has done. To clarify Mary Lou's statement, Leslie is helping with claims and not payroll. Leslie even came in on Saturday to help get the claims done, and I didn't even have to ask her, but she cares about this office and she cares about this county. I want this office to succeed, and this is who I've chosen and that I trust to bring in here to make sure that that happens. We are getting very close to hiring the first deputy, and she will play an important part in helping to get that person trained. I am new here as well, so all of this stuff is new for me as well. So I need people I can trust. And the voters elected me to help reduce the cost of government, and I fully intend to do that by building a team that has that same vision to ensure that that happens. I am not gonna let a small, loud group of people who are still upset that their candidates lost use lies and fake news to interfere with what the voters elected me to do. The continued distractions and the delusional allegations do nothing but take time and energy away from my office. You guys are just like on a hamster wheel, and you just keep spinning and spinning and spinning, and it's so counterproductive, and everybody is sick of it, including me. And I've sat back and I've stayed quiet about all this crap for 3 months now. Just stop it. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Terry. Anyone else wish to comment? This is the time, this is gonna be the only time you can comment. If anyone else wishes to comment, now would be the time. Otherwise, we are gonna close public comment.
I have something to read first.
All right, Jess?
I do have,
Wait.
I do have a question, if that's okay for me to ask it. I don't really have a whole lot.
Who is it?
Can you state your name and city, please?
My name is Sean. I reside here in Winterset.
Sean, last name, please?
Oh, Snodgrass.
Okay. All right.
So the question that I had is if the Board of Supervisors finds it appropriate that Leslie Beck did already work under Terry Kaczinski and also as the co-chair of the Republican Party of Madison County, and if that does raise concerns of a conflict of interest.
Working for, we cannot discriminate based on political parties. So that's not something we can do. If someone serves on a private committee, that's not, I mean, when you elect Republicans, they tend to surround themselves with Republicans in that office. I'm not sure, I'm a little confused as to why some folks have a problem. When people are elected, they tend to hire people from their campaigns on to work with them. So every political party, both Democrats and Republicans, have done that. So I'm a little confused as to why that seems to be an issue now.
That doesn't seem to be a concern for you, that you're gonna.
Well, I'm not voting, I'm abstaining, so that would be the decision of the other two supervisors.
Well, then I would like to know what they think.
Well,
If you're not voting for it, then your opinion doesn't matter.
correct. So they'll have discussion when we get to that resolution. This is a good time for public comment.
So you're just not gonna answer my question.
Well, you'll know as soon as we vote.
So is there anyone else that wishes to comment on the phone? This will be the only time that you can comment. Okay, we can't hear you if you're on mute, so we're gonna move on. Jess, you said you had something?
I have an email that was sent to all of us from Robin Diehl, and she asked that it be read. Dear Heather, Jessica, and Diane, I have two concerns. This is Robin Diehl, 2364 Bittersweet. I have two concerns. If appropriate, this could be read at the next meeting. Are these rumblings true? If Diane wants to remove health insurance benefits from BOS to save money because she is older and can get Medicare, then she is very cruel. Was that not presented as part of their hiring package? And are other county hires receiving health insurance? All elected officials do, as a matter of fact. Don't we want desirable packages to invite talented people to apply? If I'm not mistaken, you all work more hours than you're actually getting paid for, so the whole part-time claim is most likely not true. I would rather thank you all for your generous time spent. Number two, someone is making a fuss over hiring an extremely well-qualified individual as Leslie Beck. Why wouldn't the current auditor want to hire a trusted individual? We currently run a business, and we would absolutely want to hire a known and trusted person if we needed to. We all do that. I understand there's quite a backlog, and Leslie is the person that you want there right beside you. Hats off to the county BOS, workers, and others who are trying to currently pull our county together and be positive and professional.
I just got a text from someone saying that they can't speak. Is someone on there? Can you hear me? Okay. Hold on a second. Michaela, can you put, we need to check and find out a different bridge. This happens almost every single meeting. So if we can find out.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay, I just got a text from someone, they're trying to talk and we're not hearing them.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear the young lady that's speaking right now.
Go ahead and speak if you wish.
No, I don't need to speak. I was just testing the audio.
Okay.
Do you know how you call my phone?
It says they're getting a message saying you are not allowed to unmute.
No.
So are we muting people that we shouldn't be muting people?
I haven't been zero.
Okay, hold on a second.
Hey, it's Jen. Yes, we mute people when they don't mute themselves because it causes an issue with the recording and with us being able to hear you. So yes, if they in fact talk while you guys are talking, they're muted.
Okay, can you please unmute everybody, Jen? I want to make sure that we do not silence anybody, please. Have you finished, have you done that, please?
I am working on it.
Okay, all right, what I'm gonna do, since this person is muted, I'm gonna go ahead and have them call me. Because that is an issue, we should not be muting people, Jen. And during public comment, we should not be muting people.
We mute them when they interrupt you. That is when they get muted.
If you can unmute people, please, I would appreciate it. All right. on a second. I'm just gonna have this person call me and we will put them on speaker and they can speak.
No one else in the meantime? Now's your chance, last chance.
Okay. Okay, are you there? Okay, all right, you're gonna have to speak very loudly, Pastor. Okay, cause you're on my speakerphone, because for whatever reason, you were muted on our phone.
It might work if he calls in again.
Okay, actually, I'm sorry, what'd you say?
If he calls into the call again,
You can do
it
that?
should be able to.
Okay, can you hang up and call back into the call, please? All right, thank you.
I don't have anyone on there muted on my side of that.
Okay.
What if we move on, if no one else here wants to speak to presentations and take calls, and then we'll break up?
We'll give them a few minutes and we'll wait.
Then you guys could have a practice session sometimes, get your mics working.
They usually do
They
work.
usually do, for some
They
reason
usually
today.
I don't come often, but
They
pretty
usually work.
embarrassing,
Yeah.
I would think.
Well, they usually do, for some reason, this is happening now. Are you on there, Pastor?
Try a battery in the mic and it'll probably work.
It didn't.
Brady, will you check that?
Are you on there, Pastor?
If it's like me hearing,
Is he back in there?
Can you hear me?
Okay. All right, we can hear you. Go ahead and speak. I apologize for the technical problems.
Okay, no problem. So my name is John Vernon. I've been an ordained minister since 1997, and I currently minister in the city of Atlanta, Georgia. And so I'm calling to provide some clarity and background on a fundraiser that was held for Mr. Stancil, husband and the chairperson of your board of supervisors. Rex and I have been best friends since college, specifically Atlanta Christian College, now called Point University. And out of respect for his privacy, I won't go into too much health detail here, but we were made aware of Rex missing work for several months, culminating in a cumulative 42-day hospitalization. So after Christmas, I came to Iowa and spent several days by his bedside, attending to his needs so that Mrs. Stancil could have respite and get work done for the county. I wanted to raise some funds to help with Rex's mailing health expenses and asked Rex and Heather if that would be acceptable. As fiercely independent people, they resisted. However, after several discussions and prayer, they became willing. Heather Stancil, your chairperson, advised me that as a government official, she would need to be certain that no law was being violated. She referred me to Ms. Leslie Beck, who had several contacts with the Iowa Ethics Board, who could provide clarity on any special measures that need to be taken in the fundraiser to ensure that there would be no violation or even appearance of impropriety. Specifically, it needs to be clear that no person would receive any personal benefit or special treatment in exchange for their gift. As the time between Christmas and New Year's Day was moving quickly, when more people were off and might see it, I hope to get the fundraiser going as soon as possible. However, because of her integrity, Ms. Beck insisted that we wait to hear back from the IEB and their attorneys before going live with the online fundraiser, so it was delayed. After several conversations, emails, and texts with the Iowa Ethics Board, Ms. Beck confirmed that we'd be allowed to set up a fundraiser provided that no donor was a resident of Madison County, Iowa, or had any pending business with the county. Ms. Beck even offered to help vet the names of donors, as there would be some from Iowa that I might not know. As it turned out, most of the donors were from out of Iowa, both in number and in total amount given. Even donors who chose to remain anonymous when the campaign are revealed to the host, so I have access to all names and information of who has given and have vetted each one to make sure they follow the Iowa Ethics Board's guidelines. Having said this, I will conclude that the Constitution of the United States protects my right to freedom of religion, my personal contribution to my friend and Christian brother in need, and my solicitation on his behalf of other believers does not need the permission or endorsement by any government entity. It is an obligation set forth by my Savior, the Lord Jesus Christ, and a free expression of my religious liberty. In God's word, it says, bear one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. I can only hope that beautiful Madison County, Iowa, will always have tolerance for practicing Christians. Thank you very much. And as we say in Georgia, may God bless y'all.
Thank you, Pastor, I appreciate you calling in and your patience. Is there anybody else that wishes to speak? All right, we will move on to presentations. Executive Director Ryan Marquardt, would you mind? Thank you.
Sorry you gotta follow all that wrong.
Oh, it's all cool. Just hanging out in the lobby. Appreciate it. What was that? Usually we file it. I'll usually send you a report afterwards too. Forgive me, I'm a little hoarse today. My daughter has blessed me with throat challenges. So a lot of what has happened since last time we met is the Community Foundation grant cycle has completed at the end of February, and the board members have those applications. 26 applications were put in requesting $240,000 in funds. We have approximately $140K to spend depending on how the markets are sitting at any given day. We did fill the 4 vacant board positions with Brad LaGrange, Jess Lilly, Melissa Kallstrom, and Aaron Harmon. The board will meet on April 4th. They're reviewing those grants right now, but they'll meet on April 4th to do the allocation and awards will follow shortly thereafter. On our revolving loan fund, all 5 loans in Winterset are current. There is the older one pending in Earlham and Winterset still. We have 1 new one in Winterset that meets today, and there's another possible one in that's kind of floating around out there. So if all of those land, we'll probably have to shift some funds around to make those all fit in terms of requests, but that will probably fully subsume the available funds. We're working to compile the insurance information for the optometrist prospects, trying to finish that up. Still in the early stages of working with the hospital and utilities on a potential expansion project when the hospital they have a facility plan, and that facility plan has a significant expansion and redoing their ER space because they're crowded in there right now.
So just expanding the ER itself on the same location?
I believe most of it is, the same location, just larger ER setup, more operatories. They don't have enough right now, they're pretty jammed in there. So that's basically what the project would be. And with the utilities, we have a revolving loan fund that we could tap into. It would be a big boon for the hospital and the utilities. And then as that revolving loan fund gets paid back, we can then recirculate it in the community over time. So we're probably looking at maybe $1 million in terms of the range that we can play with in this space. We have had a major conversation. We had a good conversation with a major Des Moines developer. We did send them those 2 Winterset sites. We are working on 2 sites in Earlham as well to send their way. We are trying, in Winterset, we're trying to work on a prospect that's having a lot of challenges getting off the ground, so we're trying to help them actually get that project to go. Because it's either going to happen or not happen, and it's going to happen. And we're going to know this week, basically, if it's going to go or not. So.
Did you get that one I forwarded to you, that inquiry?
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
Is that going to have any traction?
I don't think it's likely
to have traction. Is that the same one I forwarded?
That's separate from the one you sent me, yeah. That one isn't going to have any traction. That one might, but I think it's probably not a good fit because they wanted expandability in the site for this one she sent us.
Okay.
We tend to not have, a lot of those prospects are looking for existing structures, and we don't tend to have a lot of vacant existing structures that fit the parameters of those developments. We do have a possible business that might be interested in a piece of ground that MCDG owns. It's not the most developable piece of grounds, and that's kind of why we still have it. It's kind of like a very glorified ditch. But we have a good business that might actually work there, so we're trying to get an appraisal done to see, get that updated and take a look at that. I think we've held that ground since the 80s. It's kind of just an odd piece left over from other projects. We are working with a rural Madison County business on a $400,000 business expansion, so that's promising. The business is pretty good, but he's young and it's just a cash flow situation. So we try to make this cash flow for him so we can get this project to work.
Has he applied with CPOP?
We had looked at that. I don't think it's a good fit for that one, but it's a good fit for another one later.
Oh, okay.
So, we are working with the city of Truro on a city hall library project. So that currently preliminary plans have that library increasing from about 1,400 square foot to 4,800 square foot.
Are they moving that to where the old?
Kind of where the old lumberyard facility is, they already own that site, so we can work around the existing building and taking that building, and it's about $1 million project. So we are kind of like trying to help them get the process in place. So we're going down there for the next board meeting and just try to continue to kind of guide them where we can and try to help them figure out the funding package to make it. They have some fun, so it's not, we're not trying to start from zero. So I think it's a doable project, so we're glad to help them with that. So. In the pipeline, we got a lot of weekends from that have kind of happened since the foundation work was kind of all consuming in February. So we're trying to clean a lot of that stuff up. We do have a prospect outside of Winterset that has some, through Rural Madison County, that has some equipment needs. So that's what we're gonna look at that CCOG loan potentially, see if we can make that work. And then that grant cycle coming back in April 4th, we're pretty busy this second week of April, trying to get those out and get those awards out. So.
Do you have more or less grants than previous years?
It's down this year. So I'm assuming that the timing of it, since the board made the decision to move the grant cycle up to meet better with to kind of align better with getting contractors, there's probably a few people that missed the boat that we try to do a lot of outreach. But then when in an environment of elevated interest rates and high construction costs, we're not seeing a lot of large scale projects that have been kind of slow to come the last couple of years. So
Hopefully that will change.
hopefully we'll see some change there. It would be nice. It would help a lot of other projects out. So. But yeah, that's where we're at. Any questions?
Thanks for all you do, Lane.
I appreciate it. Take care.
All right, go ahead and, sorry, I lost my agenda here. Yeah, Director of Safety, go ahead and you are up.
Sorry.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Nick Steinbach. I work for Heartland Co-op, Director of Safety and Compliance. And the purpose of me being here is based off of an IDOL's request. October we had our meeting and it was not posted on the agenda that we were going to do an anhydrous ammonia expansion. So IDOL's wanted me to get in front of you guys and just reiterate what we did. So we put it on the agenda with Michaela's help that we're doing the anhydrous project, and I'm here to let you know that we're doing an anhydrous project, so that way it gets put in the meeting minutes and it'll satisfy the IDOL's requirement.
Why don't we explain what that is so the public knows?
Okay, what we're doing is east of town, we're putting in some, I won't say some, we're putting in an anhydrous ammonia expansion, and what we've got is 4 bullets that we're putting in to service our customers down here a little bit more economically and trying to haul it down from Orland or from Boonville and increase our capacity to allow the efficiency so that way we can give better pricing to the farmers down here.
And you did disclose that, but it wasn't disclosed on the agenda. And IDOLS is Iowa Department of Agriculture and Land Stewardship.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's the
Yes.
fertilizer administrator that
Yes.
I had a visit with him on Monday, or not Monday, a week ago last Friday. We're looking to do another expansion project in Jasper County, and he voiced his request that I get in front of you guys again, so that way it's all the way it should be in the IDOL's eyes.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, appreciate your time. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, moving on to resolutions. The first resolution is HR 032525A, approving Beck as part-time second deputy to the auditor at $27 per hour effective 19 March 2025. As I announced earlier, I will be abstaining from this vote. Do I have a motion to approve?
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, there's a first and a second. Any discussion?
You wanna go first, Diane?
No.
Okay. Reading from the supervisor manual. County supervisors may not unreasonably refuse to approve appointments made by other elected county officers by relying upon frivolous, trivial, minimal, arbitrary, or capricious grounds. County supervisors should recognize and approve any reasonable and proper appointment made by an elected county officer. I understand that the auditor's office has been quite challenging. The budget process that's normally started in November was months behind when it was normally started. Our new auditor got that handed to her. The monthly audits were not caught up from, I believe, from last July. So she had a lot of work to do to get caught up. There has been some turnover. I believe that it is the elected official and the and/or department heads level of authority to decide who they want to hire, and that's their right to do. We approve the budget. I hope that we can just allow them to do their job and continue to get ahead of some of the serious challenges they've been provided. I appreciate anyone who's willing to step up to get involved in this, given the social media attacks they're subjected to, etc. It takes a lot of cojones to step into this role, so I appreciate anybody who's willing to do that. I will be voting for this measure.
I will be voting nay, and not because I have any ill will against anyone, or I don't like them. That has nothing to do with it. I think that in the past, board heads, other elected officials have come before the Board of Supervisors and said, may I hire someone? And we'd say, do you have the budget? Yes. Go back, work with HR, make the resolution, and then post it everywhere and then do interviews and come back to us, and then we approved it. This seems like she started working last Wednesday and the resolution is before us after the fact. That did not work well for us with the treasurer's office. So I have misgivings. I think it doesn't seem transparent. So that's the only reason I have nothing against Leslie Beck. I don't really know Leslie Beck. She's probably incredibly competent. But I want things to look in order. I want things to be transparent and in a kind of a timeline. And I have worked for government my whole life, so maybe I'm different. And I think we do need to be open, transparent, and do things in a reasonable, consistent fashion. So I will be voting nay on this.
Terry, did you post for the position?
Yes.
Yeah, I posted for the position.
And you posted
for all my positions.
we posted for the required 10 days, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so, I just wanna make sure.
And I have something that I wanna add to that. I just think it's ironic that, you really wanna put the county at jeopardy for a lawsuit because the board put public opinion over the law. Do we wanna put the county in jeopardy of the office being so understaffed now that it doesn't have the staff to process bills or payroll? Maybe you have somebody from the public that wants to jump in and help, because that's exactly what's gonna happen here. You won't have the people to properly conduct a special election. Personnel matters should not be discussed in public. So while the public can say whatever they want, the fact is that they won't know the full story on hiring decisions because the information is confidential and needs to be kept that way to protect the county from liability. So you're getting ready to look at an office that's not gonna have the staff to pay the county employees or to pay the claims. So, enjoy. Thank you.
So this statement, county supervisors should recognize and approve any reasonable and proper appointment made by an elected county officer. So it's not a reasonable and proper ask, in your opinion, Diane?
I have to do what I feel is right, and I feel like
That's not our role, we have to follow the law. I'm following the law by understanding, Diane.
I have to vote, I'm gonna vote nay. You do what you want to me.
It's not about you.
I'm voting nay. End it. I'm voting nay.
All right,
So,
all in,
roll call vote.
we'll do a roll call vote. Michaela, please.
Supervisor Hobbs? Yay.
Nay.
What, she haven't gotten
Sorry, Supervisor Fitch?
Nay.
And then Michaela, I'm abstaining. So let the record show that this is not a vote down of the person. This is a tie vote. For political reasons, I was required to recuse myself, which I have done. And unfortunately, it happened because of a personal issue that was used against me. So Diane, I'm very disappointed.
Knock it off.
Bully, bully, bully.
Exactly.
A personal issue.
Yes, I have to abstain because of my husband, Diane.
What does that have to do with me?
No, seriously.
So quit with the hospital.
Thank you.
So, excuse me,
That's
point of
why we're
order.
here.
Point of order.
Here on.
Point of order, if you cannot be quiet, you need to leave.
Move on.
So Diane, I'm very disappointed. She needs this
Stop
person.
bullying
Stop
her.
bullying her.
She needs this person, and you're gonna vote no.
Bully,
You're voting
This
yes.
is embarrassing for the
Okay.
county.
Point of order.
This is not public comment section.
It's not a
This
bully
is-
session
This
either.
is not
Okay, you're gonna
public
be asked to
comment.
leave if you don't stop. Anyone.
Excuse me?
Anyone in
Excuse
here
me?
who continues to speak will be asked to leave.
Then she can stop bullying. Move on.
Oh, your definition of bullying is different. They're having a dialogue.
So, Diane.
There's no
I
dialogue.
voted nay.
The vote's over.
So
This is
stop.
ready to leave. I can talk about it. This is the only time we can talk about things. I can't talk about it with you in person, Diane.
You're
We're
just
not
trying to
allowed
publicly humiliate
No, I'm
me.
not trying to publicly humiliate you. I'm trying to understand why you're doing this, because every.
I
single-
told you why. I
No.
explained. Things need to be in order.
And
It
she
isn't
said you were in
transparent.
order. She posted everything.
How many people did they interview?
She can't review anything. This is a personnel issue. Why do you keep asking that question? You know
Did she
can't
involve
answer.
HR?
She can't answer any of that.
Nothing is going before HR.
It is a personnel issue, Diane. We
You're
cannot
out of
discuss that.
order, you
I'm
are
done.
out
I'm
of
done.
order.
I'm not going to speak
Chairman,
anymore.
you
I
are
made
out
my-
of order.
I
Okay.
made my
Again,
voice.
again,
Sit
if
down,
you
sir.
guys cannot stop speaking, we will ask you to leave.
That's,
Diane, the only time I have to talk to you about this stuff is now in a meeting. Are you saying you don't want to talk to me about it? Because my concern is that every time, every other elected official that has come before us with hires, we've approved them. Every single one. Every single one. And yet, for the first time in 4 years
Yeah.
I've been here.
Yeah, we are.
Okay. All right, I'll stand too then.
For the first time in the 4 years I've been here, you vote against someone. And you vote against her. And I don't understand that, because even when I disagree with you, I still vote in favor, because we have to trust our elected officials that they hire who they want. And it seems to me that you are intentionally sabotaging this particular political office because your preferred candidate did not win.
that is
Your
not
preferred candidate
true.
that you donated to.
You are so out of order.
I took that money back, just as you did. I'm done. You
Diane?
stop.
No, you can't tell me to stop, because the only time I can talk about. Sheriff,
You're milking it.
Let's move on.
Let's move on.
Let's move on right now.
Move on.
All right, moving on to the next agenda item, approving VPN access for Jay Taylor and LBAC through 31 July 2025. We need to strike LBAC because she was not approved by the Board of Supervisors, so it'll just be, Michaela, if you can amend the resolution to just be Jay Taylor. So we'll do approving VPN access for Jay Taylor through 31 July 2025. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All
I want
opposed?
to ask a question
Oh,
before.
sorry.
I understood Julie quit Thursday. Is she coming back?
She's gonna be in the office on Monday. We really shouldn't be discussing personnel issues, Diane.
I don't want to vote for
Open
somebody
meeting.
if they're, all right. I vote aye for Julie.
All right, all in
Roll call
favor, roll call vote. Would you
Yeah.
mind, Michaela, please?
Supervisor Hobbs? Aye. Supervisor Stancil?
Aye.
Supervisor Fitch?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. All right, approving A. Collins as part-time paramedic at $18 an hour effective 29 March 2025.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion carries. Approving renewal application for Adopt a Highway between Madison County, Iowa Secondary Road Department and Howell Bridge Club. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. Motion carries. Okay, board members' reports. Who would like to go first?
Yes, please.
Jess?
Okay, had some meetings with road crew and emergency management. We've been doing a lot of budget meetings. Been meeting with Chip a little bit regarding some facility, discussions. And had some discussions with zoning regarding some of their future changes they would like to see. Just so the public knows, library funding is exactly what they requested. It's a non-issue. That's staying in there in the budget. I would like to address the accusations regarding the health insurance for the Board of Supervisors. That has been a benefit since I know I decided to run and many years before that. I wonder about our ability to find and attract good people if we don't have the benefits. I am actively trying to find a different job for less hours outside of this so that I can devote even more time to this part-time job that really should be full-time hours. It's taking a lot more time than I anticipated, and quite frankly, I could work full-time in this capacity. There are supervisors across the state who do work full-time. Lynn County supervisors, for example, granted, it's a much higher tax base, a lot more responsibilities, but they make $140,000 a year. This current job here is, what is it, $39,000? So, if the public wants to only attract people who are retired and have other benefits available, then that's a decision you all have to make. Certainly something you could propose and work toward. But that's not what I signed up for. I'm trying to clear my plate so I can devote even more time to this job. I find it appalling that the only member here that has Medicare available is the one that suggested this.
Out of order.
And
Excuse
I'm not
me.
talking with you,
You are
ma'am.
not the chair. If you continue to interrupt, we will ask you to leave, Vicky.
I believe that you just engaged me by calling out my
I
name.
called you out because if you continue to interrupt,
This is
you will
supposed
be
to
asked
be
to
a
leave.
board report.
This is a
not
board
an
report.
attack on
This is not a
gentleman.
conversation with the public. Vicky, if you continue to interrupt, we will ask you to leave.
I
Please
don't know where
stop.
we have it yet, but anyways.
I'm trying to be patient,
I know.
but at the next
Trying.
interruption, you'll need to leave.
Got it. So anyway, I'm happy to give this my all and to continue to work my tail off to serve the citizens. I'll continue to do that, whether insurance is a part of it or not. I think that, excuse me?
That's why you're of service to the community. Work your tail off.
That's what I've been doing.
Okay, let's be
Thank you.
nice. Come on, let's be nice.
So that's what I've been doing. That's what I'm gonna continue to do. Just get my feet on the ground. There's a lot to learn and I'll continue to try to work hard to serve. That is what it is. I find the comment about people losing their homes regarding home health care. Now that decision was made prior to my tenure. But it was brought up in a budget session with the Director of Public Health was here and I asked, are there any cases where people are losing their homes because of the loss of this care, or they're being sent to a facility because she wasn't aware of any? So I'd love to hear if there are true verifiable facts with somebody who's being sent to a home because they lost this program. My understanding is there was a long litany of list of resources for those folks. So I'd like to know if those resources aren't panning out. Please send them my way.
Where was this stated that they lost their home?
It was just stated tonight,
Like Fletcher
today.
said.
And it's been stated otherwise, and it's just, again, there's no verifiable facts to back that up. So if you have them, please share. So continue to work on the budget, and I think if things are looking pretty good, so that we can do what we committed to the taxpayers to do, and that is to lower their tax burden. It's what they've asked the hundreds and hundreds of people that I met while door knocking and talking to, and the people that have reached out to me, that is the number one ask. And that is what I'm trying to do. That's all I have.
I attended assessors meeting, HERDA, aging resources, budgets, opioid task force. The opioid task force, as many of you don't know, there was a settlement with the government and big pharmaceuticals on opioids. And so we're receiving this money, it kind of trickles in, and we are reaching out to the schools. And I think next, I'm trying to set up a meeting with the Turning Point and schools. And so we're getting much closer to working through this. I attended historic preservation. We did budgets again, and the landfill meeting, aging resources, we had an annual meeting, and then more and more budgets, and that's all I've done.
Okay. All right, I met with HHS, formerly DHS, to talk about their needs for use of our space. Since we are talking about selling the public health building, we need to make sure that they have allocated space in the courthouse. So we talked that through. They are very flexible and they're willing to do it. They don't need a phone line, which is good. So that eliminates some expansion needs there. They just need a small space for a desk and maybe a file cabinet. So met with them, multiple budget meetings, and also we have a Matura meeting tonight, and so we'll be talking about that. We pretty much budgets the last couple of weeks, working with, as stated by City Councilman Mike Fletcher. I have been working with the auditor's office as chair, trying to figure out how we can allocate funds based on board direction, and her learning the new system, and figuring out how we do things. So as the person most experienced with that, I've been lending assistance to her on that, and successfully so, because as you mentioned, we were able to have a very healthy budget without raising taxes. I know we've gotten calls appreciative of that from members of the public. We are still looking at ways to figuring out if there's a way, by shifting money around, if there's a way we can potentially have recommendations for the board to maybe lower taxes more. And as far as I know right now, the county is one of the few taxing authorities that have actually not raised taxes per our residents' request. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for all the hard work that Terry has done in a very difficult situation that she was handled when she came on board. She's honoring the folks that elected her, 60% of our residents that elected her. So hopefully we'll be done with that soon, and that headache will be off our plate, and we'll be able to have we do have a public hearing for the tax notice on April 1st, and what most of y'all have probably already got in the mail. That is the how much we can maximize, and we chose as a board to not tax anything more than that. We have to provide notice to the state on what our maximum is going to be. So we did that, and that's our first hearing. We still are able to lower it after that, but we cannot raise taxes per Iowa code. So we have a little time after that. Should we find something to lower taxes more, we can do that. And that second hearing is scheduled for April 21st. We have to have our budget done and to the state by April 30th. So again, that's pretty much what I've been doing, is assisting the auditor on getting all that information, gathering all that information from, and verifying costs and stuff like that in our budget. So that's pretty much all I have on that. Anybody else have anything to report? Okay, we'll move on to old business. Any old business that you want to discuss? Any new business? Okay.
I wonder if we should move presentations for future before public comment, so these guest speakers don't have to deal with this anxiety of, angry public right before they present.
Okay, we can
It's
certainly
a
do
thought
that.
to consider, we don't have to, obviously, we can't take any.
We'll have to, can't take any action.
Yeah.
We can consider doing that. We'll have to amend our policies and procedures document. We can certainly do
Something
that.
for you both to think about for future, just out of respect for our presenters.
We can talk about that. Okay, new business, replacement of courthouse fire alarm system. Is that,
We have an aging system that is,
did you wanna come up, please?
Introduce yourself, Chip. I think everybody knows you.
Chip C, Maintenance Director for Madison County Buildings. We have an aging system at the courthouse that is getting to the point it's hard to find replacement parts.
Okay.
So we've been dealing with it, setting off a lot. It's, just something we need to look into. It's a 30-plus-year-old system.
So it sets off the alarm and he doesn't have the little sensors anymore, is that correct?
We're running into difficulty finding the sensors and the heat sensors and sensitivity.
And so if the building would have a fire somewhere, that would set that off because it would censor the heat,
Well,
correct?
without the monitoring center calling me and me putting it into test, it would trip our dispatch. So,
And they've been tripped, what, the last 3 weeks?
yes.
Yeah.
What kind of panel is in there now, Chip? This is a notifier they're gonna
This
put
meeting
in.
is being
There's a notifier
transcribed.
panel now, it's just gonna be upgraded.
Yes.
Okay. And Protex is taking good care of you?
Yes.
Is that why, like after hours, I'm hearing that beep? Yeah. That's what's causing it.
Yes.
Now, you used to, Danny taught me a long time ago, you could go in and set it, but now you can't do that
Even when
anymore.
I set it, you have to physically set it. I used to be able to do it from home, from my phone, but I can't anymore.
It doesn't work, it's just worn out.
Like I say, the sensors on that they're aged out. Our techs are having a hard time finding them. It is a 30-year-old system.
Sure.
So it's something to consider.
Yeah.
And what are you thinking about for the electrical work on this? I see that's excluded.
It won't affect the electrical work.
They're just gonna, it's plug and play, just replacing what they
They're
have,
replacing
using existing
the
wiring.
panel, replacing all the sensors.
Okay.
It's about 22,000 and it's 30 years old.
Yes.
Yeah.
What, would that come under loss? Did you pull it under?
We can pull it under lock, yes. Or pull it off building grounds. Either way.
Okay. Do we have enough in loss right now? I don't have it in front of me. Yes, we do. Okay.
Thanks, Chip.
Thank you, Chip.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on, 2025 priorities, ordinance review and update is,
Would you like me to
Yeah.
go up there?
Mhm.
Okay. Ryan Hobart, Madison County Zoning Administrator. As far as the ordinance goes, I've made 2 attempts to reach out to Marvin Planning Consultants. With the last email being received stating that he would give me some dates, that was 2 weeks ago. I think that it's, with them receiving the bid or the RFP, they should take their own initiative on getting to me. So I've made my attempts. Maybe it'd be worth looking at their, what their contract says, if there's a timeline in there, and what can we do to get things going.
I'd probably work with county attorney and have him look into that and put a light fire under them.
well, before we do that, I'll reach out to them and see if I can light a fire, and if that doesn't work, then we'll light a bigger fire.
That's what I've got.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thank you, Ryan. So you're gonna reach out to them?
I'll reach out to them. Okay, ARPA project updates, how are they going?
They're going.
They're going?
Excel's working on mini splits on 3rd floor now. The stone from Monumental Park's been ordered, and along with the janitor, so once stuff's in-house, probably in the next month, we'll be seeing more on the other 2 projects, but Excel probably, middle of April should probably be wrapping up the mini split project.
That's going really fast, thanks, Chip.
You think we'll get them all done before June 30th?
Yep.
Awesome.
You think Monument Park?
Yep, I'm being guaranteed it will be,
Okay, that worries me.
because they got some giant projects going on. So
I know
it's like,
they-
once stone's in-house, that it won't take them long to address that.
Thank you.
Well, we still have that expenditure listed for fiscal year 26, just in case they don't get done by June 30th, so just know that. So if they can't do it, don't rush them, Cause we wanna do it, we want it done right, so.
They won't,
You
it
can't
won't
rush
be
it.
rushed, cause they're stone master, I mean, they're the best, so
Yeah, he
that's
won't,
why we went with them.
he won't rush it.
No,
Just wanna make sure.
they're Madison County residents, they take pride in this, and they're, yeah, it won't be a rush job, it'll be.
Well, if something happens, you know that will be
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right, that's it on the agenda. Is there any other business we wanna discuss before we?
I don't think I have
Adjourn?
anything, Diane?
Nope. All right, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A second.
Second.
All right, all in favor, please vote aye.